Welcome to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast, where we unlock the power within and navigate the journey of your self-discovery together. I'm Shaz Sini, your spiritual mentor and life coach, here to help you tap into your inner guidance system and manifest your best life. Whether you're just beginning your spiritual journey or looking to deepen your practice, this podcast offers insights, techniques, and inspiration to elevate your consciousness and transform your reality. Get ready to shine your light and embrace your true potential. Remember, the answers are inside you. Let me be your guide on earth. Welcome back to the Spiritual Awakening podcast with Shaz. Today I'm going to talk about something that's all over TikTok, social media, Facebook and everything. And that's about nervous system regulation. And there's a global wellness summit that's talking about over-optimization of the nervous system, dysregulation, or even avoidance of what's going on within yourself and in your body. People equate nervous system regulation with protecting your peace. And absolutely, that is what it's about. But not protecting it at the cost of avoiding things, hiding under a bushel, or really navigating away from the hard stuff. Nervous system regulation is about honoring your energy, being present in it, allowing the flow of it. And sometimes that means stepping back and resting, pausing or breathing, and not letting things disturb your calm. All of that matters, but not at the cost of avoiding the things that matter even more. You can't avoid hard conversations. You can't not make decisions. You cannot stop and sit back and go, oh, I'm protecting my peace and doing my nervous system regulation by not participating in life. Your energy matters the most. And in order to make that work for you, you have to do the inner work. Stop reacting from your old wounds and patterns and old survival responses. For when you master how they show up in your body, how they show up in your life and what they do to you, that changes everything. And that's not avoiding the truth. Okay, that really means proper nervous system regulation. When you get triggered, you know how to respond, not react. You know how to deal with it. And if that does mean taking a moment, walking away from something in the heat, calming yourself and coming back to it to have calm, clear conversations made with boundaries and structure and with your own personal decision rather than something you were rushed into or forced into. This is how you work out where you're really regulated. Triggers, as I've probably told you a few times, are the greatest gift that we can ever have because it shows you where your mind and your body are not in coherence. There's a mismatch there. There is a dysregulated aspect where you don't believe what's being said, but you don't know that you don't believe it because you haven't caught up with your new truth. When you master this is where you have true sovereignty of self, flow in life, peace, and powerful abundance. And that is where the magnetization of the universe starts showing up for you and everything comes your way the way you need it to. It's not avoiding life and hiding away and putting yourself under the blanket to say, it's too hard, I can't face it right now. Now, some of you out there are going to get your spiritual knickers in a knot because you think I'm going to say, just push through everything, ignore your body, override your feelings and force yourself into these situations that make you feel unsafe. I am never, ever saying that. You can stand up for yourself without putting yourself to harm. If it is a true fiery situation and it is overwhelming and it is too much, take a step back, remove yourself from it, calm yourself down, do the work. For me, I go and do tapping. I'll do my own nervous system regulation. I'll go and do the breathing work until the panic, the anxiety, and the turmoil within calms down to a point that I can respond. This is our goal, response, not reaction. For when you're staying stuck in a situation that is overwhelming or there's too many triggers or it is the nervous system having a breakdown, And a breakdown doesn't mean a mental health breakdown. It means that it cannot think clearly. You cannot respond. You have to get forced into reaction. And that reaction is usually anger, spite, hate, or fighting fire with fire and sarcastic comments back and forth, or biting back. This is where we give away our power. But taking moments to sit there, analyze what is being said and done, review it, and then coming back to have the conversation matters more to you than the person that you're having the problem with, right? They're not going to like that at all. And that's okay, because it's not about them, it is about you. You know the old-fashioned thing of where you're in a conversation and people are saying and doing something for you, and you get mad and you respond and you say all the things that you didn't want to say, and they forced you into a reaction that isn't who you really want to be. And then you go and you're in your car on the way home, or you're out somewhere after the accident, after the confrontation, and in your mind you're running over all the things you wish you would have said. This is what we're talking about, right? Taking the time to process it, to slow yourself down, settle your nervous system so you can go and say all the things you want to say in your time by your choice, not because they've made you so mad you had no choice. And trust me, sometimes the anger can be so bad that you do not want to get into that confrontation, because that's like pouring fuel on the fire, okay? It's going to blow up to something that you cannot control and that you can't get back. One of the hardest things in life is that when anger is ignited, the truth usually comes out, and we say horrible things that may be true that you may not want to have presented in that way. And no matter how many apologies you have or how much forgiveness you ask, you really can't take it back. They're going to hold it against you. They're going to hold on to that memory. You're going to pour more hurt onto more hurt and make things worse and trigger someone to the point that they can't really work out who they are or what they're doing. This is not what we want to be. Calmness is a choice. And being calm doesn't mean that you're not bothered by everything or anything. It just means that you choose not to allow that trigger or that interaction to control the way that you show up for yourself. And it's certainly not floating through life like a jellyfish with no opinions or no standards, boundaries, or emotional reactions. We're all going to fly off the handle, right? I still do it each and every day. But I maintain and monitor what I choose to say and when. Sometimes I internalize it. The internalization of it and the stopping then and there allows me to move back into proper emotional regulation. I'll go and tap, calm my breathing, do my vagus nerve resets, breathe, and give myself space. Now, this does not mean that I'm denying what's going on, dissociating, or losing touch with reality. It's taking a step back, reviewing it from all angles, not just my version or my perspective in that moment, coming back to myself and not getting lost to the trigger, not allowing the triggers to rule me. For a lot of years, I was very trigger happy. You could poke that bear all day long and I would fly off like a firecracker. But I learned not to do that, because my choice of how I respond in life matters. And I do my best not to think bad things about other people and to fight back hate with hate. I really try to understand where they're coming from and look at it from all avenues of what's going on within them to a point. This doesn't dismiss what they're doing or forgive them and think that they'll get better. It's analyzing, is that something that I really want in the sphere of the world that I'm creating for myself? Is that something I'll put up with? Or are there new boundaries that I need to create, new standards for myself that I need to raise in order not to allow that behavior to be projected at me? Because whenever someone does something to you, you do have a choice whether you receive it or not. And mostly, I choose not to receive bad behavior. It's not judgmental. It's clarity and peace. And it's the worth that I have for myself, not giving other people permission to say or do horrible things in the hope that they'll get the response they're looking for. One of my favorite things when someone says something just hurtful or hateful to you because they want to bite back is I sit there and pause, because silence, when someone does something to you, so irritating to the person. It is the best response you can ever have. Just be quiet. And then I wait about 30 seconds and say, do you want to repeat that? Especially when they come out with something truly nasty, because them having to repeat it, or I didn't hear what you say, loses all power of what they said. Because when they repeat it, they realize how much of a fool they're making of themselves. And that gives you the peace and calm to remind yourself their opinion of you is not as important as your opinion of yourself. Okay, your nervous system, when it's regulated, is still going to feel angry. It's still going to feel hurt, fear, grief, disappointment. It's still going to sting when someone says something bad to you. But you don't have to allow those emotions to drag you into a version of yourself that you don't like. I work extremely hard on growing out of that version of self, on showing up as who I choose to be through my responses and reactions to the world, because that matters to me. That is the work. You are never going to get to the stage where you're never triggered. Trust me. I try. It's really not possible, but it's how you allow those triggers to affect you and choosing the next move. When I'm triggered nowadays, my first thought is, thank you. Oh, I didn't know I had a problem in that thinking area. The next thought in my head is, I'm so sorry you feel that way about yourself. It has nothing to do with me. Because that is not receiving their judgment or criticism of you. And that's perfectly allowed. Because the honest aspect of it, you can only be triggered when you believe some of what they're saying, or it used to be an old belief that you haven't caught up with your new truth. And that's what protecting your peace is all about. Discovering, do you agree with their statement? And if you do, and you don't like it, this is your greatest opportunity to change it. And if you don't, and it still triggers you, this is where you reinforce through affirmation and honest integration your new beliefs, your new boundaries, your new standards. Because having someone that's constantly disrespectful, chaotic, abusive, manipulative, or draining, the commitment to misunderstand you at every turn isn't healthy. And this is where you have to choose a boundary. That may mean taking a big step back and allowing them to sort out their stuff, or even walking away completely. I no longer allow disrespect. That's my choice. You get to choose what you put up with. Because our body, our mind, and our world will receive what we tolerate. I choose not to tolerate it. And sometimes, in regards to protecting my peace and raising my standards, it means I have hard conversations. I admit to fault. I apologize when it's my reaction or my problem. I take ownership of it. I make decisions, set boundaries, see the problems as they are, even if it means disappointing someone else. Choosing not to disappoint someone by the way that you show up, and certainly taking responsibility for your part in it all. Okay? All of these things matter because they keep you sane. It's not dismissing all of that, avoiding all of that, going and meditating and omming and humming and sitting in an incense sage cleansing and saying, I'm all right, I'm peaceful, I'm calm, everything's okay. That's pure avoidance. Okay? And avoidance sometimes looks like beautiful spiritual language. I'm just honoring my energy, waiting for divine timing, listening to my body. I'm no longer available for negativity. I love that one. It's a great phrase, but does it actually mean anything really? Being no longer available for negativity unless you change your response to it and your reaction to it doesn't mean that it won't come, because you can't change other people. All you can do is change the way you show up for it. And you do that by listening to your body. Is it telling you that it's okay? Or is it having a big red stop sign saying no, red flag, run away? Are you listening to your intuition and gut feeling? You have to pay attention. Otherwise, your avoidance shows up as hoping the problem disappears if I hide my head under the blanket and bury my head in the sand and pretend that you're surrendering to it. It's not really. It's really painful and it's hurtful to self. And this is where we stay stuck. This is where we get stuck in patterns that recycle. Because trust me, when you don't learn how to deal with it, the universe goes, oh, you didn't get it right that time. Let me send you another test and another test and another test. And then we all sit there and go, oh my God, why does this keep happening to me? And we get into victim mentality and poor me. I don't know why this keeps happening. Because you haven't learned the master of response. You haven't chosen to stand up for yourself. Because you've avoided it. And if you don't look at it, it will go away. No, it won't. It will come back like a sledgehammer and smack you in the head. And they're big, different reactions to taking moments to pause, coming back into your body, calming yourself, and then responding. This is something that is really hard to do in the moment of heat when you're arguing with your partner, shouting at the kids, having a confrontation at work, a customer screaming their head off you. You can take all of that anger, that negativity that's directed your way and absorb it and accept it and feel really, really bad. Or you can take a moment, find the clarity in it. Ask yourself, how can I solve this? What is this teaching me? What is the resolution that I desire? How can I calmly express what I need to express in order to get the outcome that I want? Because that's how you get out of the recycle loop. That is how you move forward. That is how you show up. Not from the old version of hurt, anger, fear, and frustration, but from a calm nervous system with decisiveness, clarity, clear definition of what is acceptable and non-acceptable, and solution to problems. It's healthy to process and understand what you feel. That's why you'll need to journal it out sometimes. Sometimes in order to gain the deep clarity that you're looking for and the understanding of the whole thing, you'll have to write about it and have a two-sided conversation. That's why the scenarios go so great. You can go, when they said this, I'm going to say this and I'm going to do that and they're going to do that. And that helps you find that rhythm to understand, what do you need for you? Listen to your body, listen to your soul, and especially pay attention to your gut instinct. Because even though you may tell everyone else that you're fine, these things are going to let you know the truth. Because when you're not fine with it all, it shows up as tension, anxiety, overthinking, overwhelm, panic, resentment, or even that low-level irritation where everything just pisses you off and there's no reason for it. And this is where the build-up of bottling things down, You may think avoiding the hard conversation with the person triggering you is the good solution, but what happens is some poor innocent soul comes along and says something inadvertent, not against you really, or makes a comment. That's the final firecracker trigger or the straw that breaks the camel's back, and your volcano goes off and you erupt with all the stuff that you've buried. And usually the person that we do that to is not the person that caused all the problem. It's some innocent soul who just stepped in your pathway. It could be someone who accidentally bumped into you in the supermarket and you lose your shit. That is not healthy. This is how you know that you're dysregulated. This is how you know your nervous system is in panic mode, because that's a fear response, right? Where you're just so panicky and looking over yourself, waiting for the next problem, and you're so much in your head because you're so going over the conversation you wish you had or the reaction that you wanted that you haven't been able to have with the person who's causing the problem, that it gets mixed up and muddled in your mind and it comes out on some unsuspecting person. Because you never actually feel calm when you avoid something. It festers, it bubbles, you stir the pot, you have conversations with friends about it, you go and bitch about it behind the scenes, and it gets worse and worse until it bubbles over and becomes a really big problem. And then you become resentful. It's not peaceful, it's avoidance. You have to have hard conversations sometimes. You have to lay down the law. Most people don't want to do it because of fear. And that's where we turn around and become people pleasing. We bow down. We suffer in silence. We just do what they want because it's easier. And then you lose yourself inside of yourself. Sometimes it takes too much honesty to really look at what is the problem, why is it there, and how come you're still stuck in the loop? What do you need to learn to fully grow before you can truly get out of it? And most of us don't want to do that deep work or that deep insight until everything becomes so chaotic, we can't cope. And we're in massive burnout and overwhelm. It is not safe to hide away from everything, to step back and ignore everything. It doesn't go away. You have to create harmony within self, within structure of boundaries and standards, and understand what you need to express to other people in order to receive it. And that's not through over-explaining yourself or going around in loops telling them that this is what you want or saying yes when your body's screaming no. It's about stopping allowing other people's chaos to be yours, absorbing all the crap from people that don't matter. It's about uncomfortable conversations, honesty, listening to feedback both ways, and not calling everyone toxic because they challenge you or make you think and see what's going on underneath, or using spirituality as a shield against accountability. Too many people out there are doing that. Tell the truth, have hard conversations, and allow your body to relax and find peace and harmony with that. That's how our anxiety goes away. That is how our nervous system gets back on board. That is where our strength comes from, our power, our inner desire to create, our manifesting prowess. It comes from the desire of knowing exactly what you want, showing up in a way to go out and get it by being authentically yourself, in total congruence with all your beliefs of how things are, showing up in the way forward, rising to become all you're meant to be, not belittling yourself, not playing small, not hiding yourself away so that you're not seen, not heard, or not paid attention to, because that way you can't be picked on. That's a pattern that I used to be in myself. I hated conflict and disapproval, rejection. It's always misunderstood, judged, losing friends. All of those things happened all the time because I couldn't honestly tell you what my standards for self were. What were my boundaries? What are the values that I had deep inside? What did I need from other people? What would I tolerate? I found worth in self, and through self-love and understanding, I now attract beautiful people that are fully aligned with who I am and believe and know the same things and show up in the same way. We recognize in others what we see in ourselves, and they're the most fun friendships, and they're great because even when we have problems, we can safely, calmly communicate and work it out and tell them that this is what you want and this is what you need and this is what you'll accept. And they'll normally show up for it. And if they don't, they are people that you do need to remove from life. If someone cannot honor your boundaries, they don't deserve you. You are worth so much more than that. And when you believe it is when you'll start attracting it. Notice how you feel around the people in your life. Do they bring you great joy and happiness? Is it fun and fantastic, but not in an avoidant way? Do you have really good conversations where you can talk about deep things and understand each other's perspective and help each other grow? Or are they just nitpicking and bullying and blaming you or everybody else? One of my main mottos in life is when someone, a friend or anyone comes to me and they're all just bitching and moaning about someone else who's not there, my first question is, if they're saying that about them while they're not in the room, what are they saying about me when I'm not there? I endeavor to work hard, and I'm not perfect at it, trust me. I still do it. I do my best not to talk about other people in any way that I wouldn't tell them to their face. And if you're talking bad about someone and that's a friend of mine, I'll put a stop to it because I don't want to hear it. And if you have a problem with them, I'll tell them how to go and talk to them about it. Yes, I'll be your sounding board and help you get clear on what you want to say, but it's not there to have a bitch fest and to bully them and bring them down and complain about it. It's about how can you manage it to get a better response, or how can you move on from that situation without guilt, annoyance, without feeling that you're the problem when you are there to fix it for your own peace of mind, to take away the weight of avoiding it, to release the exhaustion, and getting back to the life that you really choose. Sometimes we have to ask ourselves, am I hiding and avoiding things? Not through shame, but simply to give you the choice of, is this where I want to stay, or do I have a reason for moving forward, changing things and doing the inner work? And that's where the real regulation gets in, the real system regulation, where we get out of fight or flight mode or fawn or freeze, where we step back into flow and show up in the way that we need to be, where we use our triggers as a tool for self-growth rather than an avoidance. And it helps you speak clearly for who you are. Choose the outcome that you want and act in a way that brings it about with ease and grace. It's about landing exactly where you're meant to be, with boundaries, with pride, with the beauty of knowing that you can and will surround yourself with amazing people who believe the same things you do, are there to uplift and inspire you while still keeping you grounded and showing where you can grow even further without destruction, without pulling you down first. And it's where you make better decisions, because if you don't make these decisions and you don't find regulation within your nervous system in a way that brings peace to your body, you will create disease. Because avoidance causes deeper problems and they manifest physically in the body. Shows up in little aches and pains, in tiredness, an increase in anxiety. The overthinking gets louder. The body first starts whispering, might be a cold, it may be a throat tingle, or it may be a cold or flu, or it could be a pain or a bump. And if you don't pay attention to that and you don't start really working out what does your body need, what is the mind screaming at you for that you're not listening to, what is your next step forward, you may trip over and break a leg to give you time out and space to do it. You may create a disease that you need to fight. Or unfortunately, you may create something even worse. And these are not to punish you in any way, shape, or form. They are to get your attention, to get you to show up and work out what is your next step, what is most important to you. Pay attention to your intuition. Listen to the greater guidance of God, the universe, or spirit. And really listen to your soul. It does communicate with us all the time. Stop saying I'm fine when your chest feels tight. Stop saying I'm okay while you're clenching your jaw and your shoulders are up near your ears and you're like, I'm okay, when you're not. Tell people you're not okay. Ask for assistance. Seek help. Because if you don't seek it now, you'll be forced to do it in a way that is so unpleasant, and you don't deserve to do that. Pay attention to the way that your body reacts around certain people, because it's going to tell you whether you're happy with them, at peace, or whether they are a problem. The honesty of how you react when other people are in the room really matters. Because if you don't sort that out, you are going to create bigger problems for yourself underneath. Because you can't just spiritual bypass it and pretend everything's love and light and it can be okay. Even nervous system bypassing language can be a problem by saying, my nervous system cannot handle this, or I'm not available for that energy. This feels dysregulating. I choose peace. Sometimes they're valid, but mostly it's just avoidant. It's dangerous. We think discomfort is dangerous. Discomfort is the way your body lets you know that you're going through a growth spurt. It's where truth comes up. It's where old patterns lose control. It's where the big shift happens. Trust me, you have a minor breakdown before you have a great breakthrough. Every time. Yes, hard conversations can feel dysregulating simply because you stop bowing down to people and being a people pleaser. And trust me, family and friends don't like it. Too bad. Boundaries feel uncomfortable because they don't get their own way. Also too bad. You do not need to earn your love through compliance. We stay stuck in situations because it becomes more familiar than the pain of getting away from them. But trust me, it's not as bad as the pain that you create in order to escape it, because otherwise your body will create it for you. It's been a very sad truth in my life, and I've witnessed it not once, but a few times, of women especially. I haven't seen a male version of it, not to say that it hasn't happened, but I personally haven't witnessed it, of women who know they need to leave relationships, or they know they need to get out of situations where they're at, or they know they need to make change, and they've manifested cancer, and unfortunately the only way they got out was to pass away. That is what the soul can do to you if you do not listen. This is why I'm so passionate about helping people get regulated within themselves, find their intuition, listen to their body, and showing up for themselves in the way that matters to them the most. Because emotional overload and avoiding problems that are there for you to solve and there for you to work through and evolve through do manifest as disease and pain and heartbreak. And nobody deserves that, right? So I want you to just consider all of this, look at where you're at, and ask yourself, how do you want to deal with all of this? Firstly, you need to stop judging and criticizing yourself. Avoidance isn't a character flaw, it's actually a learned response. We're taught it as protection, or it's a strategy that we put together to keep ourselves safe. And it's a survival mode mechanism. And it has probably kept you safe all these years. And it's kept you in relationships where they don't get out of control, but slowly you're withering and dying within it. That's not honest, and it's certainly not welcome. But we don't want to shame you into anything. We just want you to thank it, look at it, work out what you were taught throughout it. How did you grow? Even say to it, thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm not living from that place anymore. That's a powerful statement to your mind and self and your unconscious mind. Reminding the younger self that needed to stay quiet now has a voice, now can stand up for themselves, is powerful and strong enough to show up. You no longer need to disappear. You can take up space. And the younger version that had to keep the peace in order to keep everybody else settled because you were taking care of people who were meant to take care of you but couldn't, doesn't have to pretend peace anymore. They can create it for themselves. Because real peace is about truth, boundaries, self-respect, honesty, and choices. This is what you're building for yourself. Let's do a really quick reset together, okay? Just place your hand over your heart and one on your solar plexus and take a slow, deep breath in. And as you let it out, ask yourself, where am I saying I'm protecting my peace, but I'm actually avoiding the truth? Take another breath and ask yourself, what is one thing that I already know, but I keep pretending I need more clarity on? Let that land in your body. No judgment, just honesty. And say to yourself that you can pause without disappearing, rest without hiding. You can protect your peace without avoiding your truth. Listen to your body and still take action. And repeat out loud, I can choose what supports the woman I am becoming. Take another deep breath in. That's enough for now. We're not going to overhaul your whole life today. I just want you to stop lying to yourself and ask yourself one thing that is asking for your attention. How can you show up and be that for yourself today? If that is something you can't do for yourself, it fits totally aligned with my program, Shine with Shaz. This is what I teach you. You're not lazy or broken or failing at life. You're stuck in survival patterns, and they look like overthinking, people pleasing, avoiding, freezing, fawning, rescuing, doubting, or just waiting to feel ready. Shine is there to help you not shame those patterns, but look at them, understand them, and shift them. There's a lot of work with your nervous system, your boundaries, your belief, your intuition, emotional patterns, and your deeper truth. Mostly will help you find your true identity of who you are now, not who you've been. It's to come back to the reality of who you are. Healing from the inside out, not hiding from life, recognizing your patterns and choosing how you break free of them. It's showing yourself through your healing that you're supported enough to live life, really move forward and manifest exactly what you want and desire, because you can have it all. You just have to give yourself permission. If this episode speaks to you and you're ready to stop living in survival mode that you've created as normal because it kept you safe, it kept you whole, but it's no longer needed in your life, come and book a clarity call. Shine with Shaz actually starts next week for this round if you're listening this week on the 2nd of June 2026, but it's run a few times throughout the year. No pressure to join, just honest conversations about what's going on. Or if you're stuck in overwhelm, have no idea how to set boundaries, why you're easily triggered and want some resets, just book a call and I'll give you a tool, a guide, or create a reset just for you. But I do want you to remember, your nervous system deserves safety. Your soul deserves truth. And you can protect your peace and still be honest, honor your body while still taking action, and pause without disappearing. Rest does not have to involve hiding, and saying no without guilt is a right that you deserve to. Your boundaries are not there to destroy anyone else. Your compassion doesn't have to carry everything else for everyone else in order to exist. And you can certainly stop calling it peace when truly it's avoidance. This next version of you who you need to be for yourself is not asking you to force it, rush it, push it, or perform it. She just wants you to be honest, gentle, clear, brave in your own timing. So during this week, ask yourself honestly, are you protecting your peace or avoiding the truth? Remember, the answers are always inside you. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you don't miss an episode. You can also follow us on Facebook with the links below. Until next time, trust your intuition and let your spirit soar.